I'm eager to see if they're powerful enough to defeat you!
Alright then, let's test them out!
Sonic the Hedgehog has had a lot of transformations over the years. His most common transformation is, of course, using the powers of the 7 Chaos Emeralds to become Super Sonic. But depending on the game or other forms of media, Sonic has gained other transformations as well. In Sonic Frontiers, we are introduced to Super Sonic 2, a transformation where the eye color changes. Very creative, that one. Fortunately, at least we also have the Cyber Sonic form, or Corrupted Cyber Sonic form, whatever you want to call it, also introduced in Sonic Frontiers. Sonic 3 and Knuckles gave us Hyper Sonic. Sonic and the Secret Rings gave us Dark Spine Sonic. Sonic Unleashed gave us Sonic the Werehog. Absorbing the powers of the Paradox Prism in Sonic Prime gave him the Shatter Sonic form. And for this video, we are going to focus on a specific transformation Sonic had in the 2003 anime Sonic X. Throughout Sonic X, Sonic transforms into Super Sonic a few times, but there's also another transformation he has in this series, and that is Dark Sonic. That's right guys, we are going to be looking at Dark Sonic, going over his brief history, and simply asking the question, should it return? Should Dark Sonic come back? So let's start by answering this question. What is Dark Sonic? Dark Sonic is a super form-like state Sonic takes during the Metarex Saga of Sonic X. The Metarex served as the main antagonist of Sonic X Season 3, led by Dark Oak, and beneath him were 4 commanders: Pale Bayleaf, Black Narcissus, Yellow Zakova, and Red Pine. Black Narcissus had a huge intrigue on learning as much as he can about Sonic. So much so that he created 2 Metarex robots specifically designed to test and analyze Sonic's abilities. In episode 15, Teasing Time, the Metarex have been following the Blue Typhoon for quite a while. Sonic and the gang are aware that they're being followed, and they also notice that whenever they try to change course, that is when the Metarex will attack them. For as long as they stay a specific course, the Metarex will just simply follow them. Black Narcissus would send a message to the Blue Typhoon that only Cosmo can understand, so she translates for the rest of the team. The Metarex fleet that was following them this whole time was basically a test. Cosmo continues to translate the message, stating that Black Narcissus wishes for Sonic and the gang to come to his base. Cosmo notices a bit more about the message that she chooses not to tell the others, and decides to go to the base herself. Of all characters, Chris is the one that noticed Cosmo acting a little bit funny, and also disappearing from the rest of the group, so he follows her. Cosmo arrives at the base, asking Black Narcissus about the other part of the message that she didn't translate for the others. The part of the message that she didn't translate for the others was that he had information regarding Cosmo's clan. Turns out though that was a complete lie. Black Narcissus just wanted Cosmo to board the base so that he can make her his prisoner. Chris has arrived at the base and confronts Black Narcissus. It goes as well as you probably expect it to.
Now let's go!
Chris and Cosmo are captured, but worse, Chris is also injured and knocked out. Using the Blue Typhoon's power cannon, Sonic is able to blast his way into the base. He ends up in a room surrounded by fake Chaos Emeralds, making him feel uneasy.
Suddenly I don't feel so great.
Black Narcissus is just above him, turns out, and invites Sonic to join him. After a little back and forth between the 2 characters, Black Narcissus shows Sonic the current state Cosmo and Chris are in. Sonic, seeing the state that they're both in, especially Chris, triggers something that we've never really seen before in Sonic X, and just in general, this is a side of Sonic that, let's be honest, we rarely get to see in any media. Sonic is now angry, and with the powers of the fake Chaos Emeralds, he takes on a darker form. As he goes through this transformation, Black Narcissus once again states that Sonic will cooperate, otherwise his friends will suffer. This transformation is all about negative emotions taking over. It's basically a Dark Digivolution from the Digimon series. This is basically the same type of scene. Sonic's emotions gets the better of him, he's angry, he's annoyed, he hates the fact that he's seen his friends in the state that they're in, and what doesn't help is that Black Narcissus is just sitting there basically gloating about the fact that Sonic will cooperate with him, otherwise his friends will suffer even more. So, literally, blink and you miss it. Within seconds, Sonic takes out the two Metarex robots specifically designed to analyze Sonic's strengths.
Looks like you'll have to go back to the drawing board.
Settle down, Sonic! I don't think I've ever seen you this worked up before.
That's right, of all characters to calm Sonic down in this state, it's Dr. Eggman. He then confirms that Shadow has also arrived on scene to save Chris and Cosmo. Meanwhile, Rouge is trashing the devices that are being used to create fake Chaos Emeralds.
That felt great. If there's one thing I hate, it's imitation jewelry. You Metarex have bad taste.
This scene was pretty infamous for Dr. Eggman back in the day. I'm not going to focus too much on it in this video because, well, it's not the focus. But Eggman's comments here about how he doesn't like how the Metarex actually hurt Chris and the way they treated their own prisoners and the fact that they were making fake Chaos Emeralds, also Eggman didn't approve of that. It was used to make fun of Eggman, it was used to make fun of Sonic X as a whole. And while I will admit, I found some of the jokes to be pretty entertaining, especially the Sonic Shorts segment, I've got to be honest, I don't think this scene is as bad as people said it was. A simple change of the dialogue probably would have salvaged this scene, at least a little bit for the community. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's Dark Sonic. You know, if I was watching Sonic X for the first time today, I would have expected Dark Sonic to have a full-on fight scene, potentially against not only the Metarex, but maybe Team Eggman as well. To use the Dark Digivolution as a comparison again, it's kind of a tradition that not only do we see the Digimon Dark Digivolve, but the Dark Digivolution also results in the Digimon attacking not only its enemies but also its allies, its friends. I'm kind of surprised that didn't happen here with Sonic X. Like, imagine if instead of calming down Sonic, Eggman's presence made Sonic even more angry for whatever reason. Maybe Sonic's just like, oh great, you're here too, huh? Hold on a sec, Black Narcissus is my opponent first, but I'll be happy to deal with you next. And then the only character that would have a chance of stopping Sonic in this dark, angry state of mind would be Shadow, as well as possibly Sonic's group getting involved to try and calm him down. I imagine it would be a bit of a role reversal for what Sonic is usually saying when he's fighting Shadow. You know, during the Metarex Saga, when Sonic fights Shadow, he's usually saying stuff about the fact that Shadow is being manipulated by Eggman again. Shadow doesn't fully understand what's going on here, and he should at least listen to what Sonic's trying to say. In this dark form, I can imagine Sonic and Shadow fighting each other while Sonic is just fully insulting Shadow, just saying shit like, you know what Shadow, I'm done trying to help you. If you're gonna allow Eggman to control you and manipulate you again, go for it. I'm not gonna try and help you anymore. You know what Shadow, if you were strong enough, maybe you could have saved Maria. Okay, maybe that's a bit too far. Even Dark Sonic probably wouldn't say that. I feel like he wouldn't bring too much about the past, he would just focus on the here and now. But I am being serious when I say I feel like this is what we could have had within Sonic X with this dark form. One fight scene where he's fighting mainly Shadow, and instead of trying to get Shadow to understand or realize that Eggman's controlling / manipulating him again, instead Sonic's just making fun of him for it. I'm done trying to help you, Shadow. Look at little Shadow Jr. Gonna cry? Okay, so we've gone over Dark Sonic, his origins, his one and only main appearance. Now let's look at the title of this video and simply ask the question, should Dark Sonic return? Firstly, let's talk about the games. I feel like he would more likely be given the Easter egg / cameo appearance. I can't see Dark Sonic actually being implemented into a Sonic game as part of the story. Maybe during a cutscene Sonic will briefly turn into this darker Sonic form for like a few seconds and then turn back to normal or turn into Super Sonic just as a comical gag or something like that. Maybe a new Wisp is introduced and the Wisp gives him a form that looks similar to Dark Sonic for a few seconds. My point is that I don't see Dark Sonic being part of a mainline Sonic game and actually being involved in the story. More so just being a gag, Easter egg, cameo appearance, what have you. That's kind of the boring answer though, isn't it? Let's say that Dark Sonic was to make an appearance within a mainline Sonic game and the Dark Sonic transformation was part of the main story. The tone of this Sonic game would have to be something like Sonic Adventure 2, hell, Sonic 06, or Sonic Frontiers. One idea I had takes inspiration from Spider-Man games. Sonic would actually have the ability to switch between his regular form and this darker form. This darker form would give him unique abilities, it would make him slightly stronger, slightly more capable in certain situations, but of course, the power is also dangerous, it's dark, it's evil. Whether it be negative energy from the Chaos Emeralds, whether it be him absorbing energy from some other plot MacGuffin introduced within this game itself, whether it be exactly like Spider-Man and it's some kind of alien group that latches on to Sonic and enhances abilities but affects his personality and emotions. Regardless on exactly where the power comes from, Sonic is able to harness that power and take on this darker Sonic form during gameplay. And again, I'm picturing it being something like the Spider-Man games where you can switch between the regular suit and the black suit. So while you're playing through a game similar to Sonic Frontiers more likely, Sonic can play as he usually does, or for a slightly different moveset, slightly different abilities, but at the cost of Sonic becoming a little bit more aggressive, more cocky than he usually is, he can take on this darker form to deal with certain enemies, to traverse through certain parts of the level, or the open world. I think there's at least an interesting idea here, even though I'm obviously just taking it from some Spider-Man games to try and make sense of it. Another idea I had for Dark Sonic appearing in a mainline Sonic game requires us to take the multiverse route. Instead of it being the Sonic that we're playing as, that we're familiar with, it's a Sonic from another universe that has become this dark, evil version of the character. This version of Sonic is from another universe where possibly he started out as a hero, but along the way things got a bit rough for him. Maybe in his universe he never meets Tails. Maybe in his universe he never befriended Knuckles. In his universe, instead of Amy being attracted to him, she was actually creeped out by him. Maybe this version of Sonic comes from a universe where Eggman Nega's around. You know, bring him back too, why not? I made a whole video about whether or not Eggman Nega should return as well. Despite how fan-fiction-y this video has already become, we're not just talking about the games in this video. Now, I'm going to say this right now, and I don't know how many people will agree with me. I feel like Dark Sonic making another appearance honestly has a greater chance in a Sonic film or show than the games. This could lead into a whole other conversation of just in general what I would like to see or what I think could actually be adapted from previous Sonic stories into a movie. A bold move to be sure, but imagine if we got a Sonic film that tried to recreate the story of the Metarex Saga into a film or a series of films. Once again, maybe we have the situation be Sonic absorbing the negative powers of the Chaos Emeralds. Or, as he's about to take on his super form, he's clearly not in the right mindset, similar to what we saw in Sonic Movie 3, but obviously we go a step further, and instead of transforming into his super form, the transformation turns him into this dark super form, and while at first maybe he questions it, but at the same time he still feels a lot of energy and power flowing through him, so why not use it? Let's go, let's get some payback. Someone hurt Donut Lord, I can't let them get away with this. To be honest, I don't have much else to say here because I have the same ideas as I did with the games. If Dark Sonic appeared in a movie, we've got the three options. He takes on this dark form and sees it as a positive, and throughout the movie he's able to use these abilities to his advantage. But the power is also going to his head, making him more cocky, more darker, and to just put it simply, evil. He's being corrupted by the energy, and by the end of the movie he gives up that power and promises to never transform into that state ever again. Second choice, it's Sonic from another dimension who took a much darker path than the version that we're familiar with from the films, and he's our main villain for a story. Maybe in Sonic Movie 4 he's the one who's taken over the world with the Metal Sonics? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, but I know, the post-credits scene for Movie 4. It'll be Silver fighting the Iblis Trigger. Indeed, Sonic is actually the Iblis Trigger this time. It's just not the one we've been following. The third option, like I said earlier, make it into a gag. Make it into a joke. One brief scene, one brief moment where Sonic gets angry, takes on a darker shade of blue, loses his pupils, but then Amy, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow even, Donut Lord, just snaps him out of it. And it's just like, oh, sorry guys, I don't know what happens to me there. That was weird. I just felt really angry all of a sudden. Or maybe, guys, that's how it starts. Sonic Movie 4, we have a scene. Sonic's near the Chaos Emeralds. He's near some fake Chaos Emeralds. He's near some Time Stones. He's near some other plot MacGuffin. And during that time, he gets pretty pissed off. He's pretty angry. For a few seconds, whatever's causing it, Sonic starts to turn black. He starts to take on this dark form. He loses his pupils for just a few seconds. But then Amy, or Knuckles, or Tails, or Donut Lord, they just say something or do something, and Sonic's just like, oh, what? Oh, sorry, I nearly lost it there. I started to get really angry for some reason. And then that's it. That's it for the movie. In the full film, Sonic just has this weird scene like that. But then you pay it off in the next film. Simply like movie 3, where someone gets hurt, and Sonic is really angry and pissed off. Whether it be Sonic gaining these abilities early on in the film and thinking it's a good thing at first, and then towards the end of the movie he realizes that these powers are not worth it. Or we see it happen to a different version of Sonic from another universe in the next film, where he's the one who went through a similar scenario, but instead of our Sonic who had someone there to try and help him or just help him focus on other stuff that's happening, this Sonic was alone, so when he got angry and pissed off, he fully embraced this darker form that gave him power. I think if you get a team of competent writers in the same room with this topic in mind, they would absolutely do a much better job than what I'm suggesting right now in this YouTube video. But I will be honest, I don't entirely hate the ideas that I've had either today, otherwise I obviously wouldn't put them in the video. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I think I've rambled on long enough about this topic, so now I request you guys to share me your opinions, your ideas. Should Dark Sonic return? Simple yes or no. But if your answer is yes, how would you do it? How would you implement Dark Sonic in a Sonic game? How would you implement Dark Sonic in one of the films? Please leave your thoughts and opinions on this video and this topic in the comments below. I would love to read some comments that will probably have much better ideas than what I've suggested in this video today. I had a lot of fun making this. I think it makes for an interesting topic of discussion. Dark Sonic, despite only having this one main appearance in Sonic X, became one of the most popular characters within the franchise for a long time back in the day. Like, there's a lot of fan-made projects involving this alternate form for Sonic, a lot of fan-fiction stories, a lot of fan-made or modded Sonic games that involves the character. So yeah, like I said, I think I've rambled on enough about this topic. Let me know what you think in the comments below, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.
Listen, Sonic. I'm really disappointed in you. From now on, be careful not to let your temper get out of control. Or one of these days you may find you're always angry, just like another hedgehog we know.